It's day 24 of 60 days of studying the masters. And today we're restudying this cinematic thumbnail made by the Amazing for a YouTube history video about the Library of Alexandria. I really love how he puts so much detail into this piece, so much to look at, so much story in just one image. So many great design choices to teach us. Let's dive right in. We start off with a sketch, very loose, very gentle. He's getting the feel for shapes and forms very quickly here. Then the background is filled in first. I love the symmetry he created here. There's something so calming about the repeating shapes and lines. A quick swipe of the brush with some burnt umber, and she immediately looks much more 3D. I wish I had remembered to include that in my thumbnail, because I think it really helped sell the piece. We can also see how the shadows from the structure in the background are being cast onto her. That same purple tone from before is used here, making her feel a bit further back in space. Usually I'm all about the details, but here he's so small in comparison to everything else. He is such a tiny blip in the grand scheme of things that I don't think it was necessary to spend too much time on him. And I think that's okay. I think it actually works to his benefit. I think it makes him feel more like a small, insignificant person amidst the grand glory of this ancient library. And then a lighter color for the rest of her body. And some more birds flying past. And look at how he's showing the texture of the clouds. Here's a close-up look at that. I hope you enjoyed learning about the process behind this piece. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and leave a comment below. Also remember that is releasing a course soon on how to paint historical portraits. I will leave a link below if you want to check that out. It's so nice, so soft, so fluffy. And then to tie everything together, he adds a thin white line along the horizon. Once again, pulling our eyes back to the center of the painting. Notice how the light on the ground is starting to fade a little bit, creating a nice transition between the light of the day and the darkness of night. I love that he didn't spend a ton of time on the details of the face or the folds in the robe. It keeps the attention on the environment. Although I think the fact that he breaks it up by having some rows end near the bottom of the painting really helps keep it from being too perfect and boring. We see the sea and sky there, but also this glorious library building with its many pillars and pediment. Again, very simple, and then some golden light spills in from the right side. The sun is setting behind those buildings, casting long shadows across the painting. I love this use of golden light. It brings in the feeling of evening time, of dusk, of transition, of change. There's a lot going on in the architecture already. I love how he makes it slightly more purple on the left side of the painting to make it feel further away. Nice. Very quick and easy. Also notice how the birds are flying away from the viewer. They're flying away from the light. This creates a nice directional pull towards the center of the painting, which is the glowing rolls. You can almost smell the salt water from the sea and feel the breeze from the flags billowing in the wind. Then comes my favorite part, the light. As a kid I used to draw every object with a light source coming from above, but we get another swipe of that burnt umber to make him pop forward a little. Then we get his face. Look at how soft and gentle this is. This is not a harsh brush at all. It's actually quite a big brush that he's using, and is very, very soft. Then a bit of darker blue on his sleeve. Finally, a touch of warmer yellow on his face to catch the light and bring him to life. I still do when I paint sometimes because it feels safe and comfortable. But adding a light source that is off to the side really gives this scene a special mood. It shows where the shadows fall, but it also creates areas of darkness that become more mysterious, which leads to more questions like, what is over there in those dark areas? What secrets are hidden? What stories could be found within these ancient walls? Then comes the most important thing, the scrolls. The way they glow with an inner light really makes them pop out from the canvas. And if you're wondering how he did that, let me tell you, has a wonderful art process video of this very piece. It's well worth a watch. But basically, to get this inner glow, he uses a white base, and then paints on top of that with some yellows and oranges. Then adds a touch of pink on the far right corner to add a little punch. He lets that dry, and then goes in with even more purples and blues to push back the light a little. Now there's a little more mystery and depth to it. And finally, once all of that has dried, he adds a gloss varnish that catches the light. And voila, now you have a beautiful roll with an inner glow. And then he does it again and again and again until he has hundreds of them spilling down the side of the painting. Now we're ready for the next layer, and now he starts to add some color to the main character, a woman in a Greek-style robe. Next come the little birds flying overhead. Just a few little white marks with a little wet trees brown, and suddenly you have a flock of birds. Next, some trees are added on the right side, and then our scholar gets his moment to shine. First we get his torso, mostly in shadow. I want to pause for a moment on this figure, because I think it is so interesting how little detail there is on him compared to the rest of the painting. More light is added to the sky, creating a beautiful gradient between the purples and the blues and the orange of the sun. And now comes the finishing touches. A couple of white dots, 2 stars peeking through the clouds, and that is it. That is the finished piece. Beautiful, isn't it? That's it for me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.